During World War II, American combat methods often sparked frustration among both allies and enemies. Many officers, particularly those who lacked the same abundance of resources as the US military, resented the American way of war. Ordinary enemy soldiers were equally irritated by the fact that US infantry rarely engaged in what they considered fair combat. Instead of relying solely on infantry assaults, the Americans made full use of their overwhelming artillery and close air support to weaken enemy positions before committing ground troops. In comparison to their British counterparts, American forces were generally bolder and more willing to take the initiative. However, they avoided the reckless, headlong charges that could lead to unnecessary losses, and unlike the Soviet army, they did not relentlessly throw wave after wave of soldiers into the fight at the cost of massive casualties. Instead, US Army doctrine emphasized a method known as the holding attack. This approach was carefully designed to exploit the Americans' advantages in logistics, artillery firepower, and tactical air support, all while minimizing troop losses, and it proved to be highly effective. The American order of battle followed a rule of three. 3 squads formed a platoon, 3 platoons made up a rifle company, 3 rifle companies created an infantry battalion, 3 battalions formed an infantry regiment, and each infantry division contained 3 regiments. In practice, when an American division made contact with the enemy, 1 regiment would engage and hold the opposing force in place. While this holding regiment fixed the enemy's attention, concentrated air strikes and time-on-target artillery barrages would batter the defenders. Simultaneously, the other 2 regiments would maneuver to execute a single or double envelopment, forcing the enemy to abandon their position. This cycle could be repeated as often as needed until the objective was secured. The Germans, renowned for their stubborn defense in every theater, from the Eastern Front to Italy, rarely broke under pressure. They usually had to be physically driven out of their positions, often fighting until their combat strength was completely exhausted. The holding attack strategy deprived them of the opportunity to inflict devastating losses, as they had against Soviet frontal assaults. American artillery and air strikes not only caused significant physical damage, but also eroded German morale and their ability to cling to ground. On defense, US forces also proved resilient. They did not collapse as the French had in 1940, and even during crises like the Battle of the Bulge, they maintained cohesion. When enemy breakthroughs occurred, American units fell back into strongpoints, such as St. Vith, Bastogne, and Elsenborn Ridge, holding firm until reinforcements arrived. Confidence was key. They knew that fresh divisions were always on the way, the artillery never ceased firing, and air power would return with the first break in the weather. By the war's end, the advantages America wielded were ones the Germans could no longer hope to match.